Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to just try out a bunch of new products. Lots of stuff is starting to release and I want to just test it out, give you guys my first impression, give you some swatches. So of course I will link everything down below. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you like this video and trying new makeup, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so I went ahead and zoomed you in and I want to start off with these new lip peptides from Essence. I saw Manny actually use this and when I saw how pigmented it was, I was like, I need to try that. These are super affordable. They're literally $4.99. So I'm going to apply the coral shade, but I purchased two different shades and I have been loving this formula. This is the best drugstore lip balm that I have tried personally and the most affordable. Doesn't have much of a scent, maybe like a light vanilla, but such a nice shine. It's not thick, it's not hard to get out of the component. I love that each of the components have like a different color so you know which one you're grabbing, and it just feels super nourishing but also has a little bit of a tint. Absolutely loving this. I feel like there's only 4 shades, but I purchased 2 and I highly recommend those. And then I did also want to add a couple of these brightening eye masks. I used these in a previous video. These are from BabsBeauty. I kept saying YSE, but it's pronounced Wise. You guys were correcting me and I still feel like I keep forgetting. But these are so nice and smoothing on the under eye. If I could get these out. What in the heck is going on here? Hold please. Okay, I finally got one of them out, but these are like really nice and smoothing and brightening on your under eye. They don't do much for hydration, but I did notice when I was watching my footage back that they really like smoothed out my fine lines and just made my under eyes look less dark. So I just want to wear these while we're doing our eye makeup just to kind of brighten because I need all the help I can get. I also have 2 fragrances that I wanted to give you my thoughts on. I don't know if you guys like when I include fragrance, but there's so many fragrances coming out. Lots of body mist as well. And I purchased some of them and then some of them are sent to me. So let me know if you like when I include these, if you would prefer that I include them in the beginning or the end. Sometimes I'm like, should I start doing just like fragrance videos? But let's start out with the Ellis Brooklyn Queen's Caramel. I have been loving this. I've only had it for, I don't know, a week and a half, and I've been using it a ton. The notes are caramel, whipped coconut, and milky musk, and this really smells delicious. It's very sweet. It's almost like a Kayali Yum Marshmallow, but without the strawberry note and more of like a cozy caramel vibe. I think this smells incredible. I do find that the longevity is actually pretty decent as well. I spray probably like 6 sprays on and I can smell it, you know, 8 hours into the day. I think this is one of the best fragrances that they have released. And then the Rare Beauty. So this was sent to me in PR along with the Ellis Brooklyn. So I actually smelled this in the actual component and I felt like it was a little bit strong and sharp or spicy, but then I saw a couple people saying that it reminded them of Burberry Goddess, which I don't know what's going on with my under eye patches. I don't know if I have them on backwards today or what, but they keep adjusting. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so this actually has notes of caramel, vanilla, and sandalwood, but I think it's that spicy ginger that I got initially that turned me off. But once you spray this on the skin, it does remind me of Burberry Goddess. It's like Burberry Goddess with a little bit more of a caramel sort of vibe. And I have to say the packaging is so nice. The actual like spraying component on this is like nothing I've ever seen. So I'm gonna see if you can see this. I mean, it's like a really nice mister. It smells quite strong. I feel like it's a little bit more elevated if you find that something like this is a little bit too gourmand. This has a little bit of spice to it. Think again, Burberry Goddess. So I've really been enjoying this as well. These 2 fragrances are the ones I've been wearing since I got them. And I would recommend both of these because they are just really beautiful. And I think they're really good for this time of year as well. So I've zoomed you in a little bit closer and I want to use these Makeup by Mario liquid eyeshadows. So these are the Master Mattes Longwear Cream eyeshadows. These were sent to me in PR. I did pull a few to swatch for you. So I've used Chestnut, I wanna say one time, and I really liked it, so I wanna just kind of play around today, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Chestnut. So I blended out the creases on my lid. I just have a concealer that's not set, and I'm actually going to take a brush and work off the product. It's pretty pigmented and it dries down, so the lasting power is quite good as well. So I'm just gonna blend this out, and I'm not too concerned about this outer portion because I can clean it up once I finish my eyes. So I wanna take a little bit more, add a little bit right in here. So it definitely does sheer out if you want it to, but if you wanted like more intensity, then you could just use a smaller brush or apply directly to your lid. So I want to apply it to the other side, and then I'm gonna try out some of these new shadows from BabsBeauty. These are the multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadow. Actually, let's just go ahead and apply that, and then I'll do this other eye off camera. So I pulled a few shades. I'm thinking I just wanna go in maybe with Beam. These are like really, really high shine. Oh wow. Like very, very intense payoff. Wow. And then of course you have the Mario underneath, which is a little bit tacky still, so it is gonna grip to that. And to add a little bit more depth, I am gonna take a little bit more of Chestnut on a smaller brush here. And I just want to add a little bit of something, something in a more targeted application. And then I'm just taking that original brush to buff. Along with the liquid shadows, Makeup by Mario also sent over some new liners. There's taupe, and then we also have bronze. Let me just swatch these, but these have a brush on one side so you can blend it out and smudge it. I sometimes struggle with that. This is the shade bronze. Depending on the formula, I find that I have a really easy time with the Urban Decay Naked eyeshadow sticks, but the Makeup by Mario I haven't tried in quite a while. This is the shade Taupe, which is what I think I'm gonna use today. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply some to the lash line, just on this outer portion, and then flip it around and use the brush to blend. Hopefully this is focusing. So that definitely did blend out. Obviously it's a mess, but I would just clean that up. I don't know. I just feel like I have a better result when I use the Urban Decay because I don't feel like this is as blendable, and also I lose pigment the more that I blend. I'm not able to get enough like definition, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove this from my under eye, and then I'm gonna clean up and just kind of see where we're at here. So I finally got my wings to a decent state. I feel like I'm rubbing my skin raw because this is so dried down, hard to remove, that it's just not something that I find is user friendly. It's more of a stiff formula, so you really have to like work quickly and blend a lot. I actually ended up taking a brow pen. This is from iMethod, just on the tip to give me that flick, because I kept trying to get that with this and it just would not work for me. So I don't know, I just feel like this formula is hard to work with for somebody that wants to have a wing. If you don't want a wing and you just want a little bit on your lid, I think it would work. But I wanna go in next with the Recharge Gel Cream from In Beauty Project. So this is a smoothing and rejuvenating moisturizer with phytostem multi-peptide technology and hydration complex. I really love their extreme cream. So they sent this to me in PR. So I want to apply this while we're putting mascara on. And it feels not as hydrating as the extreme cream. This one has more of like a gel texture, but I have used it a few times and it feels really nice. I like that it's really like lightweight, has a nice like slip to it, so it feels like it's gonna sit well under makeup. So I wanna let this kind of settle in. I think I also wanna apply some eye cream because my eyes are like screaming right now. I'm gonna be using my vitamin enriched eye base from Bobbi Brown. This is Holy Grail. I use this on my lids every single day. from trying to like perfect the wing, I actually like rubbed my skin raw. Probably not the smartest. So I'm just gonna let that soak in, and I do have a new mascara to try. So Persona Cosmetics came out with a new mascara formula. This is a tubing mascara, and they have two different shades, so brown and black. So I'm gonna use the black today. It has a curved wand, and it's more of like that plastic type of wand. So I'm just gonna zoom you in. I can feel it like separating when I touch my lash. So I like that it actually clings onto the hairs. And I do feel like I'm getting some volume at the root. Some of my lashes are like going the wrong way. I think it's from the way I sleep, because I'm a side sleeper. Well, we're just gonna ignore that. I actually feel like that was really nice to build up. Oh my Lord. And I did rip out a bunch of lashes on this side, but they are growing back. So it's still a little bit sparse, but I've been trying to give them a break. So this is what the Persona mascara looks like. I do feel like my lashes are drooping a little bit, but again, I am regrowing them here. So some of them are like not fully grown yet, and they kind of point down. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna curl them later on and see if they kind of perk back up. But let's go ahead and move on to foundation. So I'm a little confused because Too Faced has the Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. This is new, but I can't seem to figure out like what did they change about it. So I went ahead and pulled up the Instagram for Too Faced, and they say this is new and improved. It's infused with skin loving ingredients like hyaluronic acid, alpine rose, glycerin, and coconut water. Okay, I'm not sure why they reformulated it. I feel like we're seeing a lot of that, but they sent me over the shade Vanilla. So let's go ahead and swatch this. It's gonna be dark for me right now. My neck is like really pale compared to my arms. So we're just gonna pull it down the neck and act like we didn't see anything. So I'm gonna be using the BK Beauty 101 to apply my foundation today. It does say medium to full coverage, 24-hour hydration, natural finish. They do say that it's waterproof, transfer resistant, humidity proof. I don't know. I think sometimes every brand claims these things. So obviously the shade is quite warm and too deep for me right now. It's blending really easily. I would say the coverage definitely is medium, maybe even higher. I'm not having to work hard. The one thing that I did notice that I think is bizarre is that the shade they sent me that is Vanilla is supposed to be very light with neutral undertones. This does not look very light to me. This looks like maybe a light with warm undertones or a light medium with warm undertones. So that is interesting. So this is what the Too Faced foundation looks like. I definitely think it has a nice natural finish. It looks a little bit glowy, but I did put that hydrating moisturizer on underneath. Felt like the coverage was great, and it doesn't feel like heavy or mask-like. The only thing is that shade. I just don't think this is a very light neutral shade, but that's my biggest complaint. So in terms of cream bronzer, Refi sent me a couple products. I've used this before, and I used to actually recommend this. So I have the shade Sand, and this is their cream bronzer, but I haven't used this on camera in a while, and I think they did expand their shade range, so I'm just gonna use this today. And I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 109. This is a really nice, warm bronzer. Very, very pigmented. Kind of reminds me of the Say in the way that you have to like get it warmed up in the pan, but on the skin, it's not quite as matte as the Say. And I'm talking about the Say in the actual like jar or round jar, not like the liquid one. It looks quite like dry and clay-like in the pan, but once you start working into it, it kind of melts. And I'm just gonna take whatever is on the brush here, just on the sides of my nose. It looks a little bit orange, so we're gonna have to kind of balance it out. For blush, I don't have a new cream blush that I could think of, but I do have this one from Westman Atelier. They sent this over a couple of their products, and this is their cream blush in the shade Cochette. Looks really, really pretty. I do have the new Ilia blushes that I wanna use, but they're not creams. So I'm just gonna take a clean brush. I've used the contour stick from Westman Atelier, and I really, really liked it. but I haven't tried this. I know a lot of people rave about these. So it's definitely like a buildable formula. It looks really pretty. Yeah, it's a really pretty, more of like a natural color. Moving on to concealer, RMS Beauty sent over the new Revitalize Hydra Concealer. This is in the shade WN012. I just think this might be too dark. I don't know, I might try a little bit of it. It has a really interesting like brush applicator. Feels like it's gonna be a little bit dark. It's supposed to have a medium coverage and be hydrating. So I'm gonna go ahead and use an A506 from BK Beauty. It might work with this foundation. Thought it was gonna be like really, really deep, but very, very thin texture. I would say hydrating. Looks quite nice. The coverage, maybe like a low medium. So I'm just adding a little bit more on that side, and I want to see if I let this sit for a second, if it will give me a little bit more coverage. I don't see like an actual glow in terms of like illumination, but so this is what the under eyes are looking like with the RMS concealer. I feel like it looks pretty good. More of a natural coverage, very thin, hydrating. I do feel like I have a little bit of darkness that is kind of a pain to cover, and I don't know if this is going to be able to tackle that. It's like right here. Sometimes I think I have it, and then I'll watch like my footage and I have this like dark blue spot, but first impression on this is really nice. I feel like probably more of like a natural day sort of concealer. I would like maybe a lighter shade just because this does feel a little bit just warm and dark for me, but first impression is good on this. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my face. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal powder. It is just Holy Grail. Oh, that spot is like such a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to focus on my T-zone here. This powder is incredible. I do feel like my base is quite hydrated. It doesn't feel heavy, which is nice. Like that Too Faced foundation isn't heavy or sticky, but when I'm setting right now, I don't know, feels more hydrated, which would make sense if they have skincare infused. So I went ahead and just reset my camera because for some reason I feel like I look orange, and I don't know if it's my camera switched or if this complexion is just too warm. I'll have to look when I'm editing, but I wanted to try a little bit of this Say Slip Tint Undetectable Setting Powder. So they sent me over the shade Translucent 2, and this is supposed to be a blurring, lightweight setting powder. I feel like I don't know how this would be blurring because it has like shimmer in it. That was a horrible swatch. Let me try again here. It has a like glow to it. I just don't think that that's going to blur. So I'm gonna take a brush and I wanna try this like on my forehead. I'm like afraid to try it here. Let's go on the pore area. Okay, can you see that immediately just made my pores stand out? I'm not understanding how this is blurring. I feel like that just made my pores look worse. If you were to compare, there's like a shine. I feel like this is more of a finishing powder, maybe like a toned down hourglass type of version. I don't like any shimmer in my setting powder, so I'll have to try it more with different application methods, but that just felt like it made my pores look worse. So I went ahead and finished my brows. They're not cooperating. We're just gonna ignore it. And I added a little bit of contour, just a tiny bit, because I feel like I had like no definition and everything was just really warm. But I wanna use these new Ilia blushes. So these are the soft focus blurring blushes. I picked up one and then I picked up two more. I really love these. So I have 3 different shades. The first one, holy moly, I'm gonna rip my nails off here. The first one is Glimpse. This one is a really pretty like mauvey pink. Now these do have a shimmer to them. It's really kind of similar to the Kosas baked blushes. I also picked up Breathless, which has a little bit more depth and more of that like mauvey tone. So that one was Breathless. This one is Glimpse. Is that what it's called? Glimpse? And then the one I've used the most so far is Closer, which is like a really pretty baby pink. So these are the 3 colors. You can build them up, but they do have this like really nice baked feel. So I think today I want to go in with the middle shade, which was called Breathless. And I'm going to use a Morphe M202. So there's a little bit of kick up in the pan. The thing about these is they're just a little pricey, and I feel like that's something I'm seeing often. I love this formula, but I don't know if I think the price is fair. I want to say these are like upper 30s, just really pricey. So you can see that it has a glow to it. It is going to enhance texture if you do put it on your T-zone. It doesn't feel overly shimmery. So I'm gonna take a little bit, I want to say, of Closer, just because it's like my favorite. I use this the most. And I'm gonna punch that up, and then when I remove my powder around my nose, I'm probably gonna pull some across the center of my face. I like to have heavy blush. Sue me, okay? But I really love Closer. Like, I use Closer the most. It's just my kind of shade. More of a glowy, like, natural finish, but I really like these. I just wish the price was a little bit less. I'm quickly just gonna add a little bit of this Kylie liner. Everybody asks me about this. Every time I wear this liner, I have so many comments asking me. So this is the Kylie 008 Matte Nude Liner. It's like one of my favorites ever. And I don't think I'm gonna do lashes today just because I'm trying to give my lashes a break here. And we're just testing new products, so. Moving on to lips, I'm so excited to try these. I purchased these from BabsBeauty. So this is a brand owned by Ali Glines. I saw her launch video and I was intrigued, and I went on the website. I was gonna buy like 2 shades, but it was actually cheaper and free shipping if I got the bundle. So I'm gonna throw some swatches up for you, but these are supposed to be super creamy, but also very long wearing. I think today I'm gonna go in with Almond. I just feel like this is gonna be my favorite. They looked so pretty on her. So this is a swatch of Almond, and they are long lasting. Let me tell you, I have not tried these on my lips, but I swatched these and I had to like rub my hand with incredible force, and they were only on my hand to show swatches, like 30 seconds. I have a feeling these are gonna be similar to like the Fenty Beauty or the Maybelline Lifter, but longer wear, and I'm curious if they're going to beat out the Freck lip liners. So let me go ahead and start applying and see how this feels. Okay, so quite creamy, but I don't feel like too creamy. I was worried it was gonna be like slipping, and I don't feel that. Very thin. I love how cool toned this is. We see so many like warm tone lip liners that it's nice to have some cooler options. So this is the lip liner in Almond. I love this color. I feel like we have a lot going on because nothing's really matching. I don't know if I'm just like rusty or just trying a bunch of new stuff, but we have like cool eyeshadow with warm shimmer eyeshadow. Then we have like the warm blush, the cool lip liner, the warm complexion. We're just kind of trying everything, but I love this formula. It is so easy to apply, very pigmented. It's not gunky. I think this is gonna become a favorite because literally it like will not come off. It is really, really on there. So I think it's gonna be up there with the Freck. So I'm excited to try more shades. But I did also pick up this MAC lipstick in Underslept. I think this, I don't know, it was in and out of stock, so I will link it if I can find it. But it's like this really, really light nude pink. And this is a matte. I'm going to add on this Clarins lip oil that I purchased. So they came out with 2 new shades. I got the shade 27. I can't tell if this is the same like good formula or if it's that one that they reformulated to that I did not like. So that is the shade. it doesn't feel quite as glossy as the original. They came out with like these bold color ones and I hated them, but I love the original. Has the same scent, but I don't know. It's kind of doing that thing where the pigment is kind of smearing around and it doesn't, to me, look quite as high shine as the originals. If you tried either of the new shades, let me know. I like the color. Like, I think it's really pretty because it has this like shimmer to it and it's like a warm nude, but something feels a little bit off. I'm gonna have to like compare the ingredients. I wish they would have just don't mess with perfection. For finishing touches, I'm gonna go back into that Closer blush, which is that pink one. I don't have a highlighter today, so I'm just gonna use this. I mean, I feel like it's really pretty. It seems like some of them are more glowy than others. Like this one doesn't appear to be as glowy as the other two that I got. And I think maybe that's why my hair's driving me crazy. That's why I think I like this one. I like the shade of this one too, but it just has like the right amount of glow where I can use it all over. I think it's really pretty. This one is definitely a standout for me. So I went ahead and curled my lashes and I do feel like they look much better and much more lifted. This side is the one where I am missing some lashes, but I feel like this side looks really, really nice. So we'll see how that holds up, but I want to finish off with setting sprays. So there's a lot of setting sprays coming out right now. This is a reformulation. There's been some drama behind it. I'm not really sure what's going on and why all these brands are reformulating, but they did send over the all-nighter natural finish and the all-nighter matte finish. The one thing I will say before we even get started is the top to this I don't like. It rattles and it just doesn't stay on as well as the original, so I wish they would have just kept the original packaging. It still has like the soft matte bottle with this like UD engraved in it, so I think that looks nice, but I don't know if it's like a sensory thing. It just bothers me that this is not secure on there. They're supposed to basically make these better, which again, sometimes I'm like, why fix something that's not broken? But I wanna try the natural finish on one side and the matte on the other. I really do like the all-nighter. Like I use it a lot, I travel with it. So let's see. The mister feels good. I don't smell any difference, so I'm just gonna spray this side. The mister does feel maybe a little bit more fine, so I can kind of feel like a mister upgrade there. This is the matte finish. Okay, interesting. The natural finish has more of like a big cloud of product. It's very, very fine. I'm hoping that didn't get on my lens. Very fine, and it like disperses out. Whereas the matte has a like straight shoot long. Interesting. I wonder if that's something that they wanted, because it feels like this is going to be lighter, airier all over. This is going to be more targeted. Yeah, so you get more on your skin with the matte version because it like sprays out right onto the skin, and this one is more of like a cloud that you kind of have to get closer to your face. So this is the matte and this is the natural. I don't really notice a ton of difference other than the matte side feels a little bit sticky. I can feel like a little bit of a residue on my arm too. I don't know if it's because the mister is kind of like woo in your face, or if it's just that formula. On the skin, it doesn't really feel sticky, but definitely feels heavier on the matte side. I don't know. I'll have to see how these wear throughout the day. I am a fan of the original, so I didn't think it needed a reformulation, but maybe it is better. We'll just have to see. All right, guys, so here's my finished makeup look, trying a bunch of new products, and I want to give you my thoughts. So of course, I love the lip peptides from Essence. Price tag is incredible, very high shine, very hydrating, and I love that they have pigment to them. So 10 out of 10 for me, especially at $5 $3 each. Also enjoying the Makeup by Mario Liquid Shadow. I do feel like this blends easily. It has a nice pigment to it. I would use it on an unset base. I wouldn't put this over powder, and I think it's great for one and done. I don't typically reach for this if I'm going to be using shimmers too, just because I would rather just reach for a palette. But I do think this is a nice on the go, something that you can just give a wash of color to your lids. I find that they wear well, and I don't find them to be hard to work with. Lots of pretty shades, and I am really enjoying the In Beauty Gel Cream. I will say that this is not as hydrating as the Extreme Cream. This seems to be the sister if you have more of like a combo oily skin type and you want something that's not quite as dewy. I don't know in terms of like skincare benefits if this would be better than the Extreme Cream. I think the Extreme Cream really is just great for like intense hydration and smoothing the skin, but this just feels like a more gel texture, more lightweight, not quite as dewy. So I am enjoying this, but I still love the Extreme Cream as well. In terms of my thoughts on the eye products, I think that these are really pretty from Make Beauty. Very, very high shine. They're very creamy. They don't have a powdery feel, and they just really give you that like metallic look. They're not shimmer toppers like the Danessa Myricks or the Patrick Ta. So these are like a true metallic, and I think they're really beautiful, really easy to work with. My only complaint would be, again, price tag. I would rather see smaller pans and a more affordable price point, or maybe like a quad. So I think these are really nice. The Makeup by Mario liners, I just don't feel like this is the best formula for me. I do feel like it dries down and it's really hard to maneuver. I do like that there is a brush on one side so you can really work in there, but you have to like move quickly, and once it sets, it sets. I just don't find this to be the easiest for me, you know, being someone that likes to do a wing. I'm gonna have to continue trying the Persona mascara. I did like how it gave me volume at the root of my lash. It didn't get clumpy, and I like the feel of the wand. It kind of grabs onto every lash, but I am seeing just a little bit of drooping, and that just seems to be the common denominator for me personally. My lashes just don't want to stay upright. I did recurl them, and I felt like it helped. This side looks pretty good, but this side is wanting to just turn down, and again, I lost a big chunk here, so that could be it, but I'll keep trying this out and see how it goes. And I do like how my skin looks with this Too Faced foundation. I would say if I'm thinking back to the original, this does feel more hydrating. When I set with powder, I could still feel like the hydration coming through, so I can feel that skincare infused, but I like that it's lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy or sticky, which is something I don't like, and I felt like the coverage was really good as well. So we'll have to see how the longevity is, but my skin looks nice and healthy. I would agree, like a natural finish, and the coverage was really good. In terms of the Refi bronzer, I think this is such a great formula. It blends really well. I like everything about it, but the shade is a little bit too warm orange for me. I do need to try some more shades, but the formula is great and very easy to work with. I just felt like it pulled really, really orange, and that wasn't my favorite. And the RMS concealer, I actually really like. I'm shocked. I feel like the coverage is a medium coverage. I don't think you could get it over that, but it very thin, not sticky or heavy, and nice and smoothing, gives me a nice hydration, plays well with powder. I think this is really, really nice. Also loving the Ilia blushes. Closer is my favorite. I just like how it looks all over the skin. They do have that glowy effect, but I think some have more glow than others. So just kind of keep that in mind. Closer is my favorite, but I really just like how these blend and make you look healthy, more of like a natural look. And the Say powder, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. I think the packaging is really nice, and I feel like this may be a good finishing powder, but I like a really blurred matte look. This has some sort of like glow in it, and it just isn't smoothing. I felt that it actually did enhance my pores. So for me, this would be something that I would maybe like dust on the tops of my cheekbones, but I probably wouldn't reach for a product like this. I have no complaints about the Westman Atelier blush. I felt like it was pigmented and it blended beautifully, set with powder. I feel like it's more of a natural finish, but that is the luxury vibe of Westman Atelier. So I think this is really pretty. It would probably be really pretty like all over the face, just because I find it to be quite buildable. So really liked that, and then love the lip liners. I think these are going to be incredible. Very pigmented, very, very lightweight, last forever. I really think she knocked it out of the park with these. So I'm excited to try more shades. And then this MAC lipstick, I just think this is the perfect lipstick just to tone anything down. I felt like it was going in and out of stock. So if I can link it, I will link it down below. I'm unsure about this Clarins lip oil. I love the tone of it, but it feels to me like it's not their standard formula that I love. It has that like streaky quality where it almost looks like a gel. And if you tried the bold color lip oils from them, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like the pigment just smears back and forth. It doesn't have the shine. So I'm disappointed in that. I'm glad I didn't get both new shades. And then I'm going to have to see how I feel about these setting sprays from Urban Decay. Again, I don't like the cap on it. It just drives me nuts. It feels like it's just gonna pop off at any moment. And the sprayers are different on these, which I found interesting. If I were to look at my skin, I still prefer the natural side, but I wanna see how this wears all day and see if I notice a difference at all. So I think that is everything for this trying new makeup. Definitely not my favorite look. I feel like I was trying a bunch of different just like formulas and tones, but hopefully you got some insight and some like close-up looks at new products that you were maybe interested in. So let me know if you've tried any of these, what you think. What do you think about how they applied on me? I always love to chat with you in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. Of course, I will link everything that I used today down below in my description box if you want to check them out. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.